sun will shine through. Tell me your story. When that keeps me falling asleep at your own. Maybe our hearts will stop mourning, 'cause tragedy's boring now that I found you.
Hello, guys. There's no need to panic. We don't have to get reactive after every single time we drop points. Turns out City aren't actually shit all the time. We actually played quite well today. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the post-mortem of Man City 3, Bournemouth 1. Big win. Big win. I think it might be one of our best in-possession performances so far this season. I really enjoyed what I saw. It was very fun to watch. Bournemouth are also a very good team. There is a lot to talk about today, so let's do that, shall we? Of course, we'll be talking about what we liked, what we didn't like, good individual performances, good structural performances, and just like generally, why does City look why does City look so lovely today? Just generally, leave a like on the video because it's free and it helps support your boy. If you are new, make sure you are subscribed. But how are we all doing today? Good afternoon to Kevin. Hello, Thunder Road. We got Ryan. Hey, hey. This is why we have the Hear Me Outs. Maybe we should make that a section, Fenway. Maybe you can be our new tactical mastermind. But yeah, it was absolutely, there were some similar vibes, weren't there? There's a lot to talk about and a lot of very good stuff that we actually discussed a lot on this channel literally a couple of days ago about how to get Shirky into the side. And so it came to pass. That was exactly how it happened. So very, very happy about all of that. Of course, hello, Nami, Pure City, True Citizen, Sammy, Movindra, Gabrielle, Miles, Math, Football Edits, Zane, big up Kevin, Yes I Am, Puneet, Football Edits, Nintendo, and Enthusiasm, and AP also. Lovely. Is this even real? I mean, if they're not even City fans, if that is the case, because Foden was actually really good today. So yeah, the good thing is that those idiots aren't here, so that's the good thing, I suppose. So we don't have to engage with them and their nonsense, their nonsensical takes, which make no sense, hence nonsense. I didn't see your response, True Citizen, but I don't know what your name is on Twitter, in fairness, so that's my bad. City looked very good today. The starting 11 took me a bit by surprise because I did not expect Shirky to start. It made a bit more sense when Pep revealed that Reinders wasn't actually able to start from minute 1, and he obviously had to come on. So perhaps that did inform the squad building, because had we known that Reinders wasn't available, then I probably would have predicted like Bernardo to definitely start. But either way, the lineup came out and it was really interesting. And I was like having a chat with people on Twitter about what do you think the setup's going to be, and like for me, like the starting point was always going to be, right, what Shirky's off ball position going to be? Are we going to see a mad situation where Shirky is just like thrown in at the deep end in the centre? Which wouldn't have made much sense to me. Or are we going to see him play more so off that right wing, and then the system enables him to come into the centre? And thankfully, this is the first time we've seen it, but again, it's the first time we've had like a big squad to start the season correctly. That's exactly what did happen. Shirky. So City played in their regular 4-3-3/4-1-4-1, more so a 4-3-3 today. I felt like it was a pretty clear separation between the midfield 3 and the forward 3, and you had Shirky pressing from the right wing, Bernardo right central midfield, and you had Foden left central midfield, Doku obviously at left wing also. And that's lovely, and that's really good, because that introduces zero off-ball weaknesses, because Shirky is a very good presser out at right wing. That is where he played for the vast majority of his games at Lyon, out at right wing, not a problem. And we know that the midfield was the exact same, the only difference being Bernardo was playing instead of Reinders. But it was always going to be like, okay, so then where do the players move on ball? On ball, because we don't want Shirky to be shackled to the touchline. We don't want him to be shackled. That's concerning. You know, that would be concerning. That would have been that would have been a concern if he was shackled to the touchline. So there were two ways that realistically that could have been done. The first one would be to have the right back push up, like Nunes holding the width there. The other option would have been to have rotated Bernardo and Shirky as Foden and Bernardo played with one another against Napoli. And I did think that when the lineup came out, I did think that was probably maybe a bit more realistic. Even though it wasn't what I wanted, it was a bit more realistic, I suppose. Look at this, that's so great. It's maybe a bit more realistic because Nunes has played more so as a right-sided centre-back, and we have built up in the back three, but not today. We would sort of went back to the back two with a little asterisk, but generally speaking, it was Gvardiol and Diaz as the two centre-backs, and Nunes would often be that outlet off on that right side that easily enabled Shirky to drift into the centre. And from there, we saw fantastic chemistry. Surprise, surprise, a wonderful work between Shirky and Foden. They were involved together in nearly every single goal. And it's no surprise to me that they looked that good. I don't know how many times we've been saying that on this channel, that the best team will be getting them into the centre. It's just about how we go about doing that. And I'm so happy that Pep has gone for starting him out at right wing, playing him in the centre, because we know that based on sample size, Shirky is a liability as a central midfielder off ball. He's anything but a liability as a right winger off ball. So you're getting the best of both worlds. You're protecting him off ball, you're maximising him, but you're not taking anything away from him, and you're still maximising him on ball. So that, just from a structural perspective, that was really lovely to see. It's a relatively simple, straightforward way to get Shirky and Foden into the same team, more specifically into the midfield at the same time. And I'm very, very happy that it's the first proper game where this could have happened, and it indeed did happen. And that is big. That is big. Once again, the caveat is, if Reinders were fully fit, would Pep have gone for that? Was this out of necessity rather than anything else? I'm unsure. But either way, the evidence spoke for itself. The evidence spoke for itself that we still looked really, not really, relatively solid off ball, and we still had the fantastic work on ball as well. So I was really, really happy with that, first and foremost. And of course, Shirky does what Shirky does. No surprise to me that he's already got this fantastic connection with Foden. No surprise he's already got this fantastic connection with Haaland either. It's just funny to me that his first assist was with the head. That was really, really interesting. That's really interesting. What was also interesting, I felt, was the positioning of Bernardo and Nico. So when I said earlier that we technically built up in a back two, that's technically correct. But there were quite often times where, and we have seen this season, where one of the midfielders, sometimes Bernardo, sometimes Foden, sometimes Nico, drops into the back line. So it's really more so a back three. Yeah, and Nintendo, absolutely, there were lots of rotation, so it was a bit tricky to assess. I don't think a player had a very particular role there, because as I say, sometimes it was Bernardo drifting between the two centre backs, and sometimes it was Nico. And I don't know about you guys, but just on that Nico, this is Nico Gonzalez. I felt that is maybe Nico's best ever game in a City shirt. I thought that he was fantastic defensively, but more so just basically all of his actions when he had the ball as well. He just seemed so calm and so assured, and he was constantly looking to find our attacking players. That little ball so he receives the header pass from Foden and immediately trying to loft it out to Cherki. He was also involved in the earlier exchanges of the I'm going to say the second goal as well. In fact, it may have even been the third goal as well. I will need to revisit it. But he just seemed to be involved everywhere. It was absolutely fantastic from him. He was also doing fantastically well in build-up as well. There was like a moment in the second half where Bournemouth were actually trying to press us with a little bit more intensity, and he could just like turned out of it. And it was absolutely, yeah, exactly, Musty. It was Rodri-esque, wasn't it? But I thought he just looked so solid and fantastic. So that was really lovely to see. Also, he was also quite advanced at times, and that was interesting. So Nintendo said earlier about like the rotations, and it wasn't just in like the attack. So there were rotations in the attack. So sometimes you had Nico O'Reilly out at the left side. Sometimes it was Doku. Sometimes Doku would drift over to the right. Sometimes Foden drift over to the right, and then Cherki drift over to the left. Blah 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 blah. That sort of thing. But there were also rotations in the more defensive / deeper midfield unit as well. So Nico would advance further forwards when Bernardo would drop deep and form part of that back three. And in those moments, when the ball came to Nico, he was actually able to use his physicality to get City out of a bit of danger. So that was just like a nice... I'd be interested to see Nico's touch map, because, again, at times, he was quite advanced. It was really interesting. He was playing more so as an 8 rather than a pure defensive midfielder. It was actually Bernardo filling in at that position. But then, as we say, they often fluidly exchanged roles and positions with one another. So it's a game plan that I don't know if it can work every single time. It was probably easier to do it given how Bournemouth set up against us. No, he did, Musty. Yeah, he absolutely did. Yeah, Aït-Nouri came on. O'Reilly stayed at left back, and yeah, you are right. Aït-Nouri did do that. The final sort of like 20 minutes-ish, 10 to 20 minutes, we were basically just like playing keep ball or were just defending, and Bournemouth weren't really pressing. So I think like that final few minutes was a bit sort of like, was more so vibes rather than anything else. I do wonder if we can play like this consistently regarding how fluidly we rotate with one another, or was it just because of how Bournemouth set up, which I would argue was borderline suicidal. It's November 2025, and you still got teams who are fine to come to the Etihad and play are dead set on playing extreme man-to-man against us. That was very odd, but we take those. Like, if you want to play like that against us, then we have arguably the best player in the world to deal with that in Haaland, and so it came to pass. That's ultimately how we scored those 2 goals. So Bournemouth were really weird in how they played. I will say that. I was disappointed in Bournemouth because they've been really good this season. Before they were second in the table before this game, only lost 1 game in the league this season, and they've now only lost 2 at Anfield and the Etihad. So they are no mugs, of course. And they were missing some of their key players today. Like, I don't think Kluivert didn't start, did he? And Evan Nilsson, I don't think he was fully fit, so I don't think he was able to start. They also... who I rate Diakite, by the way, but I don't think he's been their main option at right centre-back. It's a right centre-back who I can't recall the pronunciation of. I think it's like Milivojevic or something like that. I've definitely butchered that. I don't know how to say it. But so the Bournemouth didn't have their full starting 11. But at the same time, they were just tactically naive, maybe, you could say. They were very intense at first, but then they were relatively passive, which is surprising. I'd love to know the exact pressing data, but Bournemouth rank number 1 for passes per defensive action this season. And I feel like today they didn't really go for it against us. Same with us to them. The amount of times where we were quite passive for large portions of that game. So that was just something to note. So, of course, lovely to talk about City being good, but we do need to... I just wanted to like briefly say that I thought Bournemouth were actually quite poor as well, and I thought they were set up very tactically naive, as I say, which is weird. But hey, I don't care. We take those and we punish teams that do that. It's high risk, high reward playing like that. If you come, and hopefully we keep telling these teams, don't do it. Brentford tried to do it. Brighton tried to do it. Now Bournemouth tried to. All the bees, seemingly. It's just Burnley who won't do that because they will just go in a low block. But yeah, so we just absolutely destroyed them in that sense, and that was really, really good to see. Didn't give up that many chances either. I think Musty asked earlier why was not my favourite off-ball performance. I actually think my favourite off-ball performance might have been Brentford, maybe. Perhaps. I thought we were very... Aside from that one moment of madness from Yoshko, I thought that we were very good. And that's a good point, isn't it, Spartacus? Yeah. At the end of the day, if you score 3 goals against Bournemouth, it's irrelevant what they did. You must have also done something very well. So I do think they set up very odd, but yeah, totally agree, Spartacus, that we did force them into looking questionable at times. So that was very, very lovely to see. Very, very lovely. There's so many really good individual performances to touch on. We have briefly gone over the structure of how City played. And I think that essentially everything good stemmed from the centre of the pitch therein, starting from often from Nico, and then going through one of Foden or Cherki, and then finishing with another one of Foden or Cherki playing that final ball into either O'Reilly or Haaland. The chemistry is there. The relationships are there for all to see. I just love it if this could somehow now just be become the norm. And this can just be how this midfield functions from now until the end of the season, essentially, because I don't think it's actually played any better. That's an interesting question, Musty, and it's one I don't know the answer to be honest with you. There is still a way that you can do that. I mean, the most basic solution would be to swap out Bernardo for Reinders, of course, but can you do that given Bernardo's role today where he did drop so deep? I don't think the Reinders can necessarily do that, so I'm not sure that is as easy as I'm making it out to be. So I don't know the answer to that. But it's not something I'm going to worry about right now. I'm going to have a lovely chat about the team and the team's on the pitch today. Let me just come to some comments before I have more of a yap, because I'm a bit of a yapper. Does Roger need minutes in the Champions League on Wednesday? If he can start, then perhaps. Yeah, Savia wasn't good when he came in, I won't lie to you. He wasn't good. Apart from that one pass he did to Reinders, he didn't look good. Bournemouth didn't respect us. Our Ariel, but first half tactics were wrong. I agree, Fenway, definitely agree with that. Nunes, beast, I thought. Massive task against Semenyo, who's been one of the best players in the league. And I felt that he dealt with him exceptionally well. Do you think their goal was more of a Donnarumma missed timed punch or being held by the Bournemouth man? It's a mistake by the goalkeeper, unfortunately. I'm surprised it's taken this long for him to make an error like that, to be honest. Thankfully, it didn't cost us. But yeah, that was a bad error. Unfortunately, he didn't have a good game. Yeah, definitely agree, Spartacus. Should have scored 5. Yeah, we could have had another couple in that first half. Absolutely. Doku could have had a number of assists in the game. Sometimes sides self-sabotage, and today wasn't the case. To Spartacus. Thoughts on Foden, Cherki midfield? Loving Foden in the 8 role. Definitely, Harris. Definitely. It's all coming together. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. That one meme. It's just so obvious before a ball was kicked this season that this is what City would be doing, and it made the most sense, and it's what we're seeing, and I'm so excited because something that we've been saying for however long is actually happening, and it's only a 1-game sample size, but we look so good. We look so good. So my thoughts are exceptional, supported by fantastic work by Nico and also Bernardo as well, by the way. Really, really great game from him. Great game from, I would say, great game from all our outfield players. All of our outfield players were at least good, all the way up to excellent, which is fantastic to see. Fantastic to see. I don't think so, Manny, because part of that role is reliant on still maintaining the 1v1 threat that Doku has, whether centrally or out wide. So if you have Foden there, then it's a very different question that's being asked of the opponent. So I don't think so. I don't think I'd like to see that. Yeah, Doku was great, I thought. I thought it was really good. It's that more freer role with O'Reilly, his positioning, enabling Doku to roam. And that's the key word, I think. There's lots of roaming going on. A lot of roaming going on. Doku midfield was a beast, says DJ Josh. He's always lovely when he accesses those central areas. Foden is the engine, says Jerome. I think that's a fantastic way to put it. Doku was noticeably really good. Bernard as a pivot's better than Tijani. It's still a role he's learning. I do agree with that. Yeah, O'Reilly's goal was fantastic. The build-up to it is lovely. I think it's Nico to Cherki, Cherki to Foden. Foden just about gets a toe on it. It's really clever by Cherki and Foden in the build-up, and then Nico doesn't panic. There was a moment where he could have slipped in Hawley and just goes for it. It's a fantastic effort by him. I totally agree. In big games where I like Cherki in the 10, Foden right wing. Nah, as soon as you say Foden right wing, I'm not interested, I'm afraid. Haaland robot, yeah. Diaz was playing like the pasta. Yeah, again, he was fantastic. He was fantastic, wasn't he? Just on the passes, briefly. So there were some moments where some players did give away passes. I did see some, or rather I heard some Cherki, I'm going to say groans. I'm going to say groans from like the people around me, and some grumblings on Twitter as well, because yeah, there were a number of moments where he gave away the ball and it was in a silly area to give away the ball. This is just something that's going to come with time. It's something that's just going to come with time. Kevin De Bruyne was one of those players who perfectly understood when and where to play those riskier passes. And I suspect that with Cherki, it will just become a matter of time also, because he clearly has the passing. It just now needs to be about the decision-making of when to commit to those riskier actions, because there were a couple of moments in that second half when it was just 2-1 as well, where Cherki did overextend himself, unnecessary dribble, unnecessary pass, should have just tried to retain the ball and recycle. And there's nothing wrong with always wanting to do that, but Cherki just has to learn when and where to do it. That's all it is. And as Musty says there, it's about maturity. He is experienced, but he's only 21. It's his first season. It's his first, I'm going to say his first proper start for City. I know that he has started before today, but I'm going to say this is his first proper start with an actual functioning squad that we have now. It will come. It will come with time. It's not a concern for me. You have to accept that these players give away the ball if you want them to create something out of nothing. That's what Kevin De Bruyne did. That's what Cherki's now doing. And it's just about measuring those risks better. That's all it is. It will come with Cherki. It's not a problem for me. It's not a problem for me. Oh, the attackers didn't have a position, says George. Do I think Doku was at least good? Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. 100%. More for him to overlap and overload state than I've seen from a Pep team in a long time, says Fenway. Haaland's man of the match. Fantastic finishing. Could have had a hat-trick in the first half. Probably should have done, but he was lovely. Still no idea how we haven't scored from a Foden corner. Still no clue how that hasn't happened. It's insane. It's insane. Hopefully it'll happen at some point. Rodri, after 11 months, a City wasn't playing as good as Nico G. I agree with you. Do we need a new right back in Jan or play Kasanov there when he is fit, or stay with Nunes at right back? If you want to play like this today, you can't have Kasanov right back, because it's inherently reliant on the right back pushing up to allow Shirky to drift into the centre, and Kasanov ain't doing that. So if you do want to play him like that, then that's a thing, but you're not going to enable Shirky to start off the right and then come into the centre, that's all. Through the right back anyway. I guess you could do it with a midfield rotation, potentially, but then you'd have to play Bernardo, I'd say. Lucky Tries Trading says, in the beginning we're a bit sloppy with Big Don. It's not his fault. He was held back. No, it was his fault. It was an error. It was a mistake. It's fine. He has made these mistakes many times in his career, but it is an error. Shirky needs to build his stamina, says Sam. And yeah. I mean, just like going back to the point about, Foden is an engine, for example. I don't think Shirky's ever going to be that player, but he doesn't have to ever be that player necessarily. I'm fine for him to reserve his fitness and stamina levels for attacking. This is why I'm so adamant on him playing as a right winger off ball rather than as an 8 or central midfielder, where there's way more pressing burden expected of him. That's one of the reasons why I really want him to be playing there. Pep freaking out sideline when Shirky gave away the ball once again. Yeah, that will come. It's not a problem for me. Nunes gave the ball in midfield. That was frustrating, wasn't it? Because Nunes marauded. He marauded forwards. Fantastic work. And then the simple pass, he just gives it away. Very frustrating. Thank you so much, FJX, for becoming a Nabinho Ultra. It looks like some anime figure for your profile picture. Big up to you, mate. Is that Naruto's dad? Is that the fourth Hokage? I don't know if it is. Welcome to the Ultras Club, mate. Big up to you. And your random footballer is Aspilicueta. Thank you so much, mate, for joining the Ultras Club. Enjoy your exclusive videos, your chat privileges, and your use of emotes. Foden is a midfielder, a playmaker. People who still question that and says otherwise recommend he should be played in different positions, should change sport. I agree, AP. I agree. He is just... I did a tweet about this. I am not saying that Foden is as good as David Silva. I'm not saying they're the exact player. I'm not saying Shirky's as good as Kevin De Bruyne. I'm not saying they're the same player. But in the same way that you had, in that time period, you had David Silva as the slightly deeper player who was more so the orchestrator and the player more liable to get the second assist, or essentially the pass before the pass, or the pass before the assist, and then the player doing the direct action in Kevin De Bruyne. There were similar vibes today, where you had Foden getting it deeper, playing it to Shirky. Shirky plays that final ball. In fairness, it also works the other way round, where Shirky played to Foden, Foden plays the final ball. There are similar vibes here, and that is very, very exciting and lovely. And I totally agree that we need to, it is hopefully, dead the... I mean, these were moronic shouts anyway, but he's he's a second striker. I'm convinced that 99% of players being labelled as second strikers is bollocks. I'm pretty sure of that. It's very, very rare when a player is accurately labelled as one. Very, very rare. There are so many people who want to immediately say that they are that. It's like, just tell me that you don't actually understand the role of the player, my guy. Definitely agree, Fenway. Yeah, the match was won at that point. Not a problem. Not a problem for me. I totally agree. Yeah, I Nori just played as an out-and-out midfielder when he came on. That was so funny. That was so funny. Big up to you, Gurleen. Yeah, around supporting Doku. That was gorgeous, wasn't it? Nico was sensational. City don't have a penalty. Thank you so much, Spartacus. I'll come to you in a moment, you beautiful man. Just go short corners, says Fenway. Why do you like Foden to play more central, Shirky right wing? Because Foden is... This is off ball only, because Foden is far better off ball than Shirky is. That's why. On ball, they can both play centrally, like they did today. Why would I not want what happened today with Shirky right wing off ball, so he doesn't have to worry about the intensity levels required to press in the centre, and the nous to press in the centre. He never pressed in the centre for Leon at central midfield. Right wing, 10. City don't press with a 10. So that means it makes the most sense for me to make it right wing. And once again, this is the difference between off ball and on ball. 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 Thank you so much, Spartacus. Your random footballer is Gabbiadini. What a throwback. Do we have Jack in the house? What a throwback. Was he the one that scored the mental goal against Pantilimon? Or if I made that up? I feel like that was him. So Nobbins thinks that Shirky's better than De Bruyne and Foden better than David Silva. You little rats. Thank you so much, Spartacus, for renewing your membership. Ultras Club milestone. 12 months. That's a year. That's a year. And you're a hardcore Ultra as well. Big up, you beautiful man. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful man. So yeah, he did make a mistake. And that's not a problem. Well, it is a problem, but it's a thing. It's a thing. It's one of his weaknesses. I've actually been super impressed by his commanding of crosses and corners this season, because for the most part, it's actually been a lot better than his previous career. But the idea that like you can just immediately eradicate that from your game is silly. It's something he still does need to work on. It's a thing. It just is a thing. I was going to say it's fine, but it's not fine because it's a mistake, but it's a thing. It's simply a thing. Big up to FJX again for supporting the channel directly. That's the best way to support the channel, guys. If you are able to. If you can't, then the best way, leave a like on the video. It's free. Oh, it's Nebs. That's because it's your @. You can change your @. A YouTuber apparently moving away from like usernames into @s, so you can always change it if you so desire. If you so desire. Yeah, Spartacus, this guy, man. No, he is IDK. Yes, Marmouche is. He's one of the instances where it is correct to label him as that. But most people just want to immediately label it as players who are like so not that, and Foden is absolutely one of those players. Arsenal game as well, to be honest, IDK. But yeah, it's not something that I'm going to cry about. It's not something I even tweeted about because it's not anything new. But like, it's just a thing. Maybe that is what I'm thinking of, Jack. Maybe that is. Yeah, it was like a looped one over Pantilimon, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Gabbiadini was after Pantilimon, wasn't he? Yeah, I'm thinking of the wrong one. It was the one where Company got done, I'm pretty sure. And then it was a mental strike over Pantilimon, I'm pretty sure. Right. Thank you, Jack. There you go, some Southampton lore. I don't know why I thought it was Gabbiadini. What do I want to talk about now? Because there is so much to talk about. So we've discussed the shape and the structure. What else would we like to chat about? Maybe more so on an individual level, because I think structurally, Nico O'Reilly, that's a good one. Yeah, yeah. Once again, look, and I'm a big fan of Ait Nori, but if O'Reilly keeps like putting in performances like this, it makes it really, really challenging to envisage like where if he can actually just like take back what I assumed was going to be like the title as the main #1. But O'Reilly once again was absolutely sensational going forwards, linking up with Doku, linking up with Foden, defensively solid. I can't recall who their right winger was. Was it Tavernier? I don't even know how you pronounce that name. Tavernier, I think it was. About to lose his job. Yeah, O'Reilly was exceptional. His crosses are so potent. Oh my goodness, he could have had another assist for another assist from like one of his crosses to a Haaland header. Performance like this, he missed a sitter and Petric palmed his P. Shut up, Toby. Shut up. Hello, Liam Byrne. How are you doing, mate? Let's talk about Soboslai. Shut up. Yeah, I felt that he was absolutely solid. He was brilliant. He has saved us a lot of money. I think whether he's going to be a starting left back or whether he's going to be an option in the centre, he certainly saved us a lot of money. So I'm really, really happy with that. And yeah, there's no slander to Aït-Nouri. Yeah, Aït-Nouri is still a fantastic player for me. And he didn't play well at Swansea, but he wasn't fully fit. He looked very rusty. And I would still say that Aït-Nouri probably has a higher ceiling than O'Reilly. There's still... Thankfully, it didn't matter too much today, but at time we do know that there have been times where O'Reilly's first touch has let him down. Aït-Nouri's much better there, but yeah, O'Reilly was sensational, wasn't he, as well? Diaz and Gvardiol, solid as always, and they had to be because they were playing in a back two today. We did touch on the fact that Bernardo was sometimes dropping to support, but generally speaking, they had to do that. And they did it very well. Nico touched on, Bernardo we touched on. I think we've touched on basically all of the attackers now. Solid Nunes was defensively also. Once again, very, very impressed with his work given the threat of Semenyo. That was very, very lovely to see. That was very, very lovely to see. What else would I like to talk about? I know where to punch midfield. Set pieces. Oh, my screen is frozen and I've made an odd face. There we go. The set pieces situation still hasn't changed, I think. Musty addressed it earlier, and this is absolutely right. We did, on a couple of occasions, change the movement of Haaland, I'm going to say. So, like, normally what we have been doing is Foden's been putting the ball into a dangerous area, just like directly. What we did today, though, was Haaland would rush the near post, Foden plays it to him, and then Haaland tries to find another player, like, in the box. So that's just like another avenue to create some chaos, I suppose, in the box, because I don't think Haaland's going directly for goal himself. I think he's more so trying to flick it on to another player. And there were a couple of instances where that did happen, but once again, we still have not scored from a corner. I have no idea how that hasn't happened. Shirky had a pop from a free kick, because why not? But I'm still staggered. I'm still staggered that we haven't actually scored a goal from a corner, given how good the delivery has been. I still don't really get it. Phone Shirky duo / bromance. Hilarious, man. Hilarious. I don't think, thankfully, it's no one here. I don't think. Well, there were some people, to be fair. Mainly so elsewhere. Oh no. Or rather, oh yes. Now, Foden is going to get sold and Shirky will play instead of him and they hate each other and Foden is jealous and blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. You know, it's like the most narrow-minded view of anything to have ever seen about anything ever. It was so obvious to anyone with a brain and eyes that these two are perfectly matched for one another. We keep saying it, don't we? And Frankie's just said it there. Yeah, Foden in the 8, off ball, well, I suppose on ball as well. And then Shirky slightly more advanced. Generally, they clearly understand one another. They clearly love one another. I'm sure they would like to kiss and hug one another also, but it's not that sort of channel. It's not that sort of channel. It could be though. It could be though, but it isn't. Talk about Soboslai. Shut up, Liam. Yeah, let's not slander Aït-Nouri though. Hello. Yeah, cashing on Foden. That's crazy. That is crazy. That is he did Nintendo. And that's a massive thing as well, by the way, because like if Foden weren't able to do what he has done this season, he's been excellent this season. If he weren't able to, I don't even think the right word is adapt, because we have seen him play deeper at times. We just haven't seen it consistently enough. So I'm not even going to say adapt. I'm just going to say if he weren't able to prove that he can do this role, then that makes it even harder to justify signing this more offensive-minded midfielder in Shirky and accommodating him in that sense. I remember, was it? I think it was at the Club World Cup. There was a comment in the chat. I can't remember who did it. I think it was AP. And they said, Nobbins, look at Guardiola's comments about, Foden and whatever. I think he was asked, basically, this is like a couple months ago now, so as I said, the Club World Cup, how do you, accommodate all of these really attacking players, such as Shirky, Foden, Echeverry at the time, blah, 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 blah. And he essentially alluded to the idea that we have so many great offensive players. It may well be that, like Foden, who is also one of those players, we know... exactly. Yes, thank you. It was you, yes. It may well be that Foden can play slightly deeper. And it's almost like the prophecies being fulfilled. I think it was in 2019 or something like that. It may have been even earlier than that. I can't recall the exact time the quote was said, but Guardiola said that I think he, Foden, can become a holding midfielder. Now, he didn't mean a 6, obviously. He meant more so like this overall midfielder, like a Gundogan or a Bernardo Silva, who can do a lot of the stuff a lot of the time as an overall player. And doing that, I believe, personally, is getting the best out of him. But perhaps even more importantly, it's based on this evidence, it will get the best out of Shirky as well, because Shirky can't do that. I'm just going to say that right now. Shirky's skill set is absolutely not aligned with playing that much deeper, metronomic role, if you will. That is not Shirky. That is not how he should be used either. So it's like a domino effect. That makes sense. It's like a domino effect. Wait, Toby, if you ban someone or something, that was a misclick. What have you done? Toby, if you ban someone, mate, chill. Unban them if whatever you've done. Naughty boy. Naughty little boy. Topic is Pep still experimenting. No, he is. He genuinely is. And he almost sort of has to do that, because this is the first time, and actually this isn't even the first time, is it? Because it was a mistake. I think you're back. Don't worry, you're back. That was an error from the mods. What was I saying? Yeah, and even now, we still haven't had it where we've had all of the squad available all at once. So if Reinders was available to start today, and I think that Pep said that he wanted Reinders to start today, how would that have impacted the play? Would that have meant that Bernardo wouldn't have started? Or would it have meant that Shirky wouldn't have started? Or would it have meant that Foden wouldn't have started? I'm unsure, but Pep wanted to start Reinders, so we don't even know. We're talking about all this right now, but this isn't even the final form. There is still experimentation going on, absolutely, hopefully for the better. One experiment I think that we can probably all agree on is something that we have concluded a decent amount of time ago, and that is the right wing spot is still absolutely up for grabs. Now, in some games you will want Bob, in some games you will want Savio. However, the number one choice for me in general is going to be Shirky, and I think that today, it is of course only one game, but given how impressive he was and given how impressive he is as a player just generally and overall, Shirky's made a massive... He's made a massive credit of himself for starting as that option out at right wing and being enabled to come into the centre. That's so exciting to me. Foden's been playing like an 8 and done exceptionally well. I totally agree, Frankie. I totally agree. To the less perceptive, I think they're going to look at it and going, he not getting goals and assists as much. That equals bad. But we know it's not as simple and straightforward as that. I would actually say this is my favourite iteration of him so far. Yeah. Yeah, he got an assist, didn't he? Phone used to be assistant player where he could only turn and shoot. Now he's assistant player, can't get a Gina. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it, Spartacus? It's crazy. Changing Spartacus and low key. Yeah, it is a similar vibe, isn't it? Not good enough, Toby. You're barred. It was clear as day as being interested in Shirky Versus. Yeah, definitely AP, and that's why it was so funny when people try to make it an us versus them. That whole saga really told that, for me, it really informed who can you take seriously and who you can't take seriously. Do you think the City system is designed to make Haaland score goals, or is he just the only one putting in the effort to score? It's definitely the former, 100%, Alex. It's almost like, well, no, it is. It's all being directed, funneled towards him. Like there is a reason why he's getting all of these goals. It's all tailored to him, and it should be. By the way, it should be. We even in the treble year, like where he was absolutely mental, I still felt that we didn't really tailor the entire team to Haaland, and this is now, I would say this season, we are absolutely doing that. Now, that does come at the sacrifice of, you know, other players not scoring goals, but as long as the team is scoring goals, I don't personally care where the goals are coming from. I just care that they're going in the back of the net. That's all that matters. And City are the top goal scorers in the league. I believe that we're on 20 now. Is that correct? I think the next highest is Arsenal with 18. So, yeah, it is. So we are definitely good enough going forwards. Sadly, based on this season, because of how amazing Arsenal have been defensively, we've not been good enough defensively relative to our competition. We've got the same defensive record as Spurs. Sunderland, who do have another game to play, have a better defensive record than us also. So that is definitely an area for improvement. But generally speaking, we are lovely going forwards, generally. And it's a good time. Yeah, don't worry, Flawsy back. That was an error. On Bolshevik, he does like to drop deep. He does, and I've made my feelings clear on this, that I'm not the biggest fan that when he does that. Because when you've got players like Bernardo and Nico and Foden and whoever else able to do that role, I don't need Shirky to do that as well in addition to. There's nothing wrong with him doing it occasionally. Nothing wrong with that at all. But Kevin De Bruyne could do that. He could drop deep and be that guy as well. But we all know that you don't want Kevin De Bruyne to be picking the ball up, inside his own half and trying to create from there. You want him to be creating much closer to the goal. So I don't hate that he does it, but I would rather he do it less when other players are able to do it for him. It's not as extreme as this, and companies made it work with Kane now, but there were so many games for Spurs, or rather games for England, where Kane would do that. And he's like, okay, this is lovely. That's a sick switch from the halfway line, Harry. But now my winger's got no one to play into the fucking box. There's no one attacking the fucking box because you're dicking around trying to be Pirlo. That's a more extreme example, and Kane has sorted himself out a little bit there, and companies made it work. But do you know what I mean? It's a half adjacent analogy. The amount of rotations in front line was crazy. Yeah, definitely saw Doku right. Shirky flipped everywhere, Foden orchestrating the midfield. Even saw Nunes in the front line and still pack Semenyo. Definitely. How many yellows does Donnarumma have? I don't know. Speaking of yellows, what I did like, I didn't like he got booked, but I sort of like I did sort of like the Foden got booked. I did quite like the little naughty tactical foul. I did sort of like that. Shirky looking great combined with Bob and Savio being in poor form definitely means he should be ahead on the team sheets as Fenway. I totally agree. That could absolutely be a thing, AP. Definitely. Could Foden be a Bernardo replacement? I do think we need another player to do that. I do think that we will be down a player in the midfield if we don't do that. I think Phone Deep is a good idea because I think Phone's better when he has more stuff to do. Toby, I agree. He is a... I mean, we even saw in his Player of the Year season that there is a correlation between the amount of touches that Foden gets and the results of City's games. And Foden's definitely one of those players. You want him to be involved as much as possible. I totally agree, Toby. Yeah, definitely Pirlo. If anything, they're facilitating one another. It's people who don't understand what they're talking about who think that it's one or the other, I'm afraid. Or that they are directly impacting one another, or that they are even similar players. These are the people who probably... No, I don't fucking know what Foden's position is on FIFA. But if, like, let's say that Foden's an attacking midfielder on FIFA, they probably go and see Shirky as an attacking midfielder, like, oh, I can't fit him into my 4-2-3-1. Therefore, City can't do it either. That's how they talk, and that's how they think. It's funny people saying Haaland joined the wrong team, and when he wasn't scoring, he wasn't involved in the game. Now he's scoring every week. People complain that we are a one-man team. Can't have it both ways. Exactly. You can't do it. You can't, can you? You can't have it both ways. Can't have it both ways. Definitely not. Yeah, definitely AP. Agree with that. He's a right winger. Well, that tells you everything you need to know then, doesn't it? Good lord. Good lord. Are you happy with this team, or would you like to see them improve in some areas? There are definitely some areas that can improve. I'm still not happy really with the... I'm still not really happy with the off-ball shape. I do like my 4-4-2. I do like my 4-4-2 off-ball. And we haven't seen that this season, really. I still feel like I still feel like the structure that we're trying to do off ball isn't perfect. I still think it can be exploited. It was very passive today. We was really not, charging out at Bournemouth when they were trying to build. Maybe that is one solution. It's interesting though, because that's not usually how City have played in the past, but maybe it's a potential solution. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure. Excuse me. It wasn't a perfect performance today. It can still be improved though. Sorry, what's the perfect Can't speak. It wasn't a perfect performance today. It can be improved upon, certainly off ball overall, but I still thought that we were solid. Bournemouth didn't have that many chances against us. Their goal comes from a Donnarumma error, and I can't recall them having too many other chances. I felt our defenders dealt with it really, really well. They dealt with it really, really well. That was a lovely time. Anything else that we would like to talk about? I do want to do my player ratings on Finalysis, so make sure to stick around, because I do want you guys to help me with my player ratings on the Finalysis app. Just having a look at the team now. Yeah, Haaland. We've talked a lot about the Foden Shirky dynamic, which I'm in love with. People were having a go at Bernardo earlier, but I felt like he was quite good, especially dropping between the centre backs. I liked that. Super impressed with the full backs. Nico, man. Nico did look a bit like Rodri today. He did look a bit like Rodri today. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying that he's as good as Rodri, because obviously he isn't, but my words, nearly every single action was perfect. There was only one instance in the second half where he got dispossessed, and that was stinky, but, I'll have a look after Liam Bird. I'll have a look, yeah. I'm excited now. Rodrigo, Nico G midfield to Sachin. We've touched on it before, haven't we? We've touched it many a time. This could absolutely happen in a game state where you are defending the lead, or right from the start, if you want to Spartacus. if your concern is defending a lead in a tie. 100%. That's good. That would be such a naughty midfield pairing, wouldn't it? Unbelievably solid. No doubt. Yeah. And it's not like Nico is this immobile defensive midfielder who is a stiff plank of wood or whatever. He's actually a very competent ball carrier, as we know, and can actually be quite silky at times. Yeah, the press resistance was really good today, wasn't it? So we know he can act as this 8 also, so he can still be a decent threat. 100%. Throw in a Phil Foden into that midfield as well, and you are looking at a ridiculously solid off-ball midfield, rather. Crazy. No, I didn't see that, no. And Nikachi, brilliant, yeah. Well, Rodrigo came off the bench, didn't he? So that's nice. Let's say players away against Madrid. Nunes overlaps. They have Mbappe, Vinny up top. Between a fully fit Diaz and fully fit Casanov, who plays as the right centre-back? Well, I don't think that we would... Oh, you said let's play. I don't think we would play like that. But you have said let's say we are going to play like that. Well, yeah. In general, profile-wise, you'd go for Casanov, wouldn't you? But I'm not convinced that we'd be confident enough to play like that against them. Yeah, it did, Sachin, definitely. And if we can do that, in most game states where we are leading by, a slim margin, then why not? Like, it's all ifs, buts, and maybes, but, like, imagine if, and I don't even know how much it would have made a difference in fairness, but, like, imagine if, against Arsenal, when you're leading 1-0, 80th minute, and you can bring on, and you can have both Rodri and Nico on the pitch, Who started that game? Did Rodri start that game, or did Nico start that game? I can't even remember. Well, whoever it was, the other one can come on, and you can shore up the defence, definitely. I properly can't even remember who started that game. That's how impactful my brain has recalled. Rodri started, thank you, True Citizen. Oh! Did Rodri come off, Nico come on for Rodri because Rodri wasn't able to continue? Is that what happened? Because they didn't share the pitch, did they? I'm sure Nico came on at some point. I feel like he did. But anyway, you know what I mean. Yeah, big up to you, Lucky Tries, sorry. Yeah, it was great by Nunes. It's a shame for Nico because, unfortunately for him, and we could add this to Nunes as well, it's unfortunate that Shirky got 2 assists, and it's unfortunate that Haaland got 2 goals as well. They're more like the underrated man of the match. If Xavi and Doc improve their shooting, we'd be unstoppable, says Ollie. And Xavier didn't look good when he came on, I'm not going to lie. You guys know I like Xavier, but I can't really defend him outside of the one moment that he played it to Reinders, which was nice, but he hasn't done himself any favours, this right wing debate. And from his perspective, that's a bit of a concern, given how amazing Shirky looked starting from that right side. Did they, True Citizen? I can't even remember that. They shared... Right, well, my whole point is meaningless then. Well, I don't know what I'm talking about, clearly. Nico came off a hole. Yeah, so don't remember that. How do you like... Savio is awful. I don't think he is awful, though. He wasn't awful last season. He wasn't awful against Villarreal. He's been lackluster this season. But, yeah, he's a young, inexperienced winger. I do, in my head, maybe it's just because I'm willing to accept that he's a young, experienced winger who isn't like this weird outlier, and he just needs patience and time. Like, it's not something that overly concerns me. He wouldn't start in my preferred starting 11 unless I need a proper right winger, in which case he would, because we don't have another proper right winger outside of him. Guys, shall we do player ratings on the Finalysis app? Let's show appreciation to that one nutmeg by Holland. That Trivella was insane, IDK. Yeah, that was beautiful. That was a gorgeous ball. Big up. Big up. Yeah, Dame, but he's one of those outliers. Sane peaked at 21. He was never the same player afterwards. He literally peaked at 21 years old. So he is one of those outliers that I was alluding to. We've got over 400 people watching, which is lovely. Let's get up to 250 likes, shall we? That would be very beautiful. Thank you very, very much. It's free. If you want to go the extra mile, click the link in the pinned comment. If you want to do what this beautiful person has done, FJX8658, and also Spartacus. You can click the link in the pinned comment. Let's do some player ratings now on the Fanalysis app, as I say. I think I forgot to do them for Swansea, so that's my bad. Okay. Let's refresh and recap what the rules are for player ratings. It's out of 100. 50 means average. 60 means above average. 70 means good. 80 means great. 90 means excellent or brilliant. 10 is perfect. And by extension, 40 is below average. 30 is bad. 20 is really bad. And like 10 is like shit. You know, like, and like 0 is like you were literally playing against us. You were a literal detriment to the team. Like, you are an objective detriment to the team if you're hitting 0. Yeah. Okay. Those are the parameters. So with that in mind, let's start with LB's text me. What does he want? Little bastard. He's just saying Elbin's tomorrow 11. Oh, give me a little X. How cute. I'm going to put yeah. Shall I leak LB's number right now? For real. Shall I dox him right now? I'll leak his IP address and everything. If you don't want to do it out of 100, just make sure you give me a decimal. Just so it's, instead of saying like 5, do like 5.0 or like 5.2. If you don't want to do it out of 100. 50 would be a 5 in that way case, and obviously 40 would be a 4.2, etc. Okay, so starting with Donnarumma. He didn't start the game particularly well. In like the first 2 minutes, I want to say, he randomly punched a really easy cross that he should have just caught. He was at fault for the goal, so that's going to be massively going against him. He did fine for one shot that was hit like straight at him. For me, he did not have an average game. He had a below average game because he literally caused a goal. So I'm gonna go against the grain here on the chat. I can't say that he had like a 6, because 6 means that he played above average. He made an error leading to a goal and did one only alright thing, which I'd expect him to do. Remember, 50 is average. So I think he was below average, bordering on bad, based on the fact that he had very little to do. So I'm going to give him a... I'm not going to go into bad. I'm going to say below average, though. I'm going to give him 45. We can be generous because you can round that up to a 50, which is average. I'm going to say 45 for that. Nah, it was not a foul. You got to be so much stronger there. You got to be so much stronger there. It's an error by Donnarumma. It's fine, but it is an error. 45 for me. Below average performance. Didn't do anything particularly good in the game. Ruben Diaz. Don't know what the hell that is. Really good. Again, you know what we like to do? What was his aerial duels today? Because he's actually been very good at those this season. Damn it, he won 0. But he also lost 0. Yeah? So, you know, that's the thing. Yeah. I thought it was solid. I thought that he didn't do anything wrong. I thought he defended well. I'm going to give him a good rating. You guys are going for 70, and I think I am going to agree with you on this one. I'm going to go for a 70. I think that low 70s is about right. He had a good game. He had a solid, good game. And I think similar with Yoshko, would you say? Would you say with Yoshko? Sorry, I'm speeding through. I need to hold up. 75, 70, 70, 70, 75, 75, 70, 75, 68. Yeah, so we're around the same. We're sort of like around high sixes or low sevens, that vibe of area. How about Yoshko? I'm comfortable in saying that he had a similar performance to Diaz. Can't recall. Yeah, also 76 Sachin. Can't recall any errors. Didn't do anything exceptional, but as I say, didn't make any errors. Did everything he was asked to do. Guevara gets bonus points for being really handsome. That's such a good point, you know. I didn't account, but so does Ruben Diaz. So where does that put me? Where does that put me? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Any interesting data to look at? Not really. Just once again, overall solid. Overall solid and really nice. Calm, building out from the back. Really essential that he plays. I'm going to also give him a 7. I think that's fine. A good game from Yoshko. A good game. That's the perfect good 70 or 7. Mateus Nunes, who I'm going to rank a fair bit higher. Now, he was good. The question is, was he great? Which is an 8, and that rhymes. Locks down Semenyo. I can't recall Semenyo doing anything because Nunes had such a strong game against him. He did give away the ball in a very frustrating area of the pitch. That was annoying. But what it's not something that we've actually touched on. What I was really impressed with was his ability to dribble out of danger today. That is not something that I have associated with Nunes because normally his touch lets him down, he gets into trouble, he runs into traffic, and sometimes he did get himself into trouble. But so I've just given Gvardiol a 72 because Sachin's reminded me of like an amazing slide tackle he did, so I'm going to bump him up slightly. Just going back to Nunes. Yeah, so that was that one annoying moment, which could have been a bozo, as we say. I think it's a high 7, though. I think it's a high 7. I'm not going to give him a... or am I? Was he great? He was good, but was he great? That's what I mean, Mohammed. Yeah, the first touch normally lets him down. Didn't happen today. Jack, that's an insane slander name. I'm seeing some mid-8s. Some mid-7s, an 8, mid-7, high 7, 8, 75, 7.7, 80, 80, 80, 85, 75, 7, 7.9. He had an almost perfect game. Just like 85, that's going to be like a ranking that I'm going to be giving to like, you know, Haaland and Shirky. That's like that high 80s. So I think I'm going to give him a high... I'm going to give him 79. I'm going to give him 79. He's just on the cusp of having a truly great game. I guess for me, if I'm thinking about it, in order to elevate it, I would probably have to have seen a bit more offensive contributions from him in order to bump him into the 8s for me. So whilst I think that defensively he was absolutely exceptional, didn't really put a foot wrong, I probably would have needed a bit more offensive contribution to push him into those 8s. So that's what I'm going to go for there. I think that's reasonable. I think that's fine. I wouldn't begrudge you. I wouldn't begrudge you if you gave him something in the 8s, but I'm personally going to give him a high 7. O'Reilly, on the other hand, did contribute offensively. Of course, he scored the goal. He could have had an assist from a Haaland header. And as with Nunes, he was also very, very solid defensively. He had an easier job, to be fair, because he wasn't up against Semenyo. So he did have an easier job, but he still did everything asked of him defensively quite well, I felt. Any interesting data to report? He had an expected assist of 0.13. That would have been his cross to Haaland, I'm sure. He apparently missed a big chance. What was his big chance that he missed? I can't recall what that was. After on the rewatch, I would think about that. But yeah, so he was obviously given a more offensive role. He was enabling Doku to go centrally. I am going to give him a great game. I'm going to give it higher than Nunes. Not too much higher than Nunes, mind. Not too much higher. I'm going to say like low 80s. I'm going to say 81, personally. 81, personally. But I think that is really, really good. A great game. Doku sent him through. Thank you, Miami. Yes. Thank you for refreshing my brain. Yeah. So maybe that's like bumping him down a little bit. So... Oh, yes, Nintendo, yes, I do remember that one. Yeah, Foden was, like, there. Yeah. Foden was there, and he just, like, he tried to go for the shot, and he didn't play it back, and he missed it. Yes, definitely. Definitely. So let's go for that. O'Reilly. Really good cross for Haaland. Good, very good goal. Took his goal. That goal kills the game as well. Lovely. Missing out on getting into a higher area because of those silly little moments, though. Oh, it might be getting better and better. Oh, was it a deflection, Sachin? Thank you. Nico, the other one, Gonzalez. Notice, whenever I say Nico, by the way, I mean Nico Gonzalez. I specifically say O'Reilly for Nico O'Reilly and Nico for Nico Gonzalez, just in case there's any confusion there. So Nico, I've spoken at length about how happy I was with his performance. That might be the best performance by Nico Gonzalez that I've seen this season. One little annoying moment where he gave the ball away in a dangerous area in his own defensive third, or was it the middle of the pitch? Either way, he gave it away and it was unfortunate. This is going to be another great game. His ball recoveries, let's have a look. 8 ball recoveries. So yeah, he was wonderful. He was also heavily involved certainly in the first goal, with that lovely ball to Shirky, who then flicked it with his head. So this is going to be the highest rating so far, and the highest rating so far is O'Reilly on 81. I'm not going to say that he was... I can't say that he was brilliant, because he did make that slight error, which could have cost us a little bit. But it's not going to go higher than 84 for me. That's going to be the absolute maximum for me, because then otherwise I'm mathematically it'd be rounding it up to having a brilliant game. I think he's closer to great than it is to brilliant. So I'm going to go for an 83. 83, I think that's reasonable. What do you guys think? What do you guys reckon? 82, 78, 85, 80, 89, 84, 83, 82, 84, 85, 85. See, this is why, guys, don't go to FootMob or SofaScore, yeah? Come to Fanalysis and LNobbins, yeah? I think that's good. It's more like, it's bordering on mid-80, so I'm going to say that. I think 83 is good, personally. I might change these based on what I give to Shirky. Do you think that's a bit low? I think that's fair. I think that's reasonable. I think that's good. Bernardo Silva. He didn't have a sexy game. But he was quite important to how we set up structurally. He was very good at receiving the ball in deeper zones. What else? I felt that he was just like overall solid outside of a couple of moments. I think that he had a good game. Not a great game, but it was a solid game. It was a good game. Exactly, Hall in FC 2000. Yeah, he enabled the team more so than on an individual level. So this is going to be something in the 70s to reflect that. He was the one controlling the tempo, says Nintendo. Bernardo was good, so a 7. Yeah, I think it's closer to a good than a great game. Personally, I'd argue it's closer to good than great. Not that much off though. I'm feeling a 74. you guys reckon? 7.2, 68, 70. Bernardo was solid, 80. Bernardo was mint, 70. He lost the ball a few times, 79. Bernardo was good, 70, 81, 72, 77.7. Yeah, so it's around the same area then, isn't it? It's around the same area. Sanchez says Bernardo's the most important player on the pitch, enabled all the shenanigans of Shirky. Sanchez says 80 is fair. Yeah, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. For me, I'm going to say it's closer towards having a good game than a great game. So hence, I'm going to go for 74, which I think is fair. 8.3. Right, what is going on here? What is going on here? Okay, Phil. I don't think that Phil had a brilliant game. I don't know if he had a great game. It was certainly a good game. We've spoken at length about how integral he was. In the same way that Bernardo was integral, we've spoken about how Foden was also. He did get his assist, which was more so about the goal than the assist. But hey, he still got it. He was still really important in that move. Yeah, once again, solid defensively. I feel like he got fouled a lot. It says 3, but the referee was letting a lot go. There were a number of times where he was fouled, which is good in the dying embers of the game, of course. That was really, really nice. It was an unbreak game, did everything for the team, not for the spotlight. Yeah, I think that's a good summation, to be honest, AP. I'm thinking either high 7s or low 8s for this one. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think that he had as good a game as Nico Gonzalez did. So I'm not going to rate him any higher than 83, because that's what I put him at. I think that he had a similar game to Nunes or O'Reilly. That's what I think. And I gave Nunes a 79. I gave O'Reilly an 81. So maybe I should... So I'm thinking... So that does track. I'm thinking high 70s or low 8s based on that. 7.6, 78, 82, 7.6, 78... 76, 75, 79, or 80, 80, 78, says Louise. I'm not going to push him into the 80s. I'm going to give him a high 7, though. I'm going to give him 79. I think that's fine. I think that's reasonable. Not quite into the great category, but basically there. Basically, I think that's a fair ranking. I think that's fair. I think that's reasonable. I think that's relatively reasonable, guys. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Shirky. Late 82 from Foden. Shirky. This is obviously going to be a great game. He's not going to go into the 9s. And let me tell you why. Well, first of all, he came off... Actually, no, he came off slightly later than I thought. No, scratch that. I'm not going to pop him into the 9s. Let me tell you why. It was what we talked about earlier, where he was giving the ball away too much. And that's harsh, because he is a player who you want to be in those areas. You want to give him that responsibility. But at the same time, we do have to fairly say, well, that was a silly move that nearly... I think there was a moment where we actually nearly conceded a goal, or certainly conceded a shot at goal anyway. And like Shirky like literally put his hands up to say like, you know, my bad. So, and ultimately it didn't matter, but that could have been giving away the ball in a silly area. So for me, he's not going to get into the 9s. He's still in the 8s though, comfortably in the 8s as well, by the way. I'd say that his first half, I would say was in the 9s. Maybe the second half more so in the 6s or 7s, perhaps. Maybe closer to the 6s. So I've got to give him something in the... He had a great game for me. I can't say that he created 2 brilliant chances. He created the 2 best chances of the game. That ultimately won us the game. I can't give him anything below an 8. I think that would be unreasonable, but I'm not going to push it too close to the 9. I'm thinking low to mid 8s. So I'm going to say more of an 84. 84. I think that's fine. I think that's fair. What have you guys said? 85, 84, 89, 87, 8.5, 9, 86, 87. Shiki was a 7, says Spartacus. 8.7, 8.7, 67, says Stephen. 8.7. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good. I think that's fine. Dom says 9. Stephen says 9. Yes, Shiki says 100. As I say, I can't put him into the... I wouldn't feel right putting him into the brilliant category because of the second half showing and because he did give it away a couple of silly times. But still, lovely from him. Absolutely lovely from him. Doku. Let's move on to Doku now, shall we? Who should have had at least 1 assist. Realistically. He wasn't his usual 1v1, I'm going to destroy you and rip you apart winger. But everything else he did really well, I thought. Controlled, measured in the middle. Some nice actions there. Solid defensively. It's at least good. Should have had 2 assists. Sachin says an 83. I'm thinking something in the 7s. Because I don't think that, for example, I don't think that he had a better game than Foden. And I've given Foden 79. So I don't think I can say that he's done that. But I do think that he was better than Bernardo, who I gave 74. So, for me, somewhere between 74 and 79, I think does make sense. I might go bang 75. Bang in the middle, 75 of between 7 and 8. I think that's reasonable. What are you guys saying? Yeah, like the video, guys. Listen to the Nobbot. 82, 85, 8. Do you think is this in reference to Shirky? He's ready to fixture more tough games from here on out. I don't have a problem with Shirky playing in any game. It's more so about like what his off-ball position is. I don't mind him. So I guess if it's a tricky game, I don't want him playing centrally. If it's a less tricky game, I don't mind him playing centrally. But if he's playing right wing, I don't care about the opposition. I don't care if it's Real Madrid away. I've always maintained that Shirky should be starting at right wing, if possible, regardless of opponent. If possible. So yeah, we're on Doku now. 75, 7. Lovely inside roll for him, says Dom. Yeah, I agree. An 8, 7.1, 7.2, 7, 78. When Doku plays from the middle, he most definitely creates a big chance. He's great there, isn't he? 77 or 78. I don't think I agree, personally. I don't think I agree with that, Sachin. I did like Doku's performance, but I don't think it was that good. I think it's more so a good. I'm going to give him 75. I don't think it was better than Foden, for example. I did like a lot of what I saw, though. I think 75 is good. Okay. Last player. Who else? How many Premier League goals has he scored now? Is it 98? Or is it 100? Because I've seen both. Which one is it? How many Premier League goals has he scored? And just this season as well, how many Premier League goals has he scored? I can find the latter out myself with the Premier League app. Where is... They've moved stats, haven't they? For God's sake. Why have you done this? Can't believe you've done this. 13 goals this season is insane. 98 in 107. Mental. Sure was expecting him to get 100, so Sachin. 13 goals, mad. He is 7 ahead of second. So stupid. So stupid. It is only a matter of time before he gets into, before he breaks the records, to be honest with you. Absolutely obscene from him. Did he do anything, like, wrong today, Haaland? Oh, there was one, he dinked. He dinked when he could have probably squared to Shirky, when he could have had a hat-trick. So it wasn't a perfect performance. It wasn't a 10. It can't be a 10 because he did make a slight error. So I can't give him a 10 based on that. I think I've got to give... But, like, I think I've got to give him something in the 9s. And by extension, I guess Haaland is my man of the match. Because, like, what did he do wrong? If I'm trying to not give him something, because 9 is brilliant. What did he, like, he even did, like, a little Travella pass at one point. That was so stupid. He was, he did that cleared header as well. It was fine off ball. Yeah, he did miss that one big chance. The Megs as well, says Harrier. Big up to you, MN. Shuggy's created second most big chance in 2025. Does not surprise me at all. He's absolutely that sort of player. Thank you very much for your super chat, matey. Great hold-up play. Nutmeg the defender. 90, 9.8, 94. Missed a big chance. 92. I think that he was brilliant. I'm going to give him a solid... I think I'm just going to lock in a 90. I'm going to do that. I think that anything higher than that... I need, like... If you got the hat-trick, let's say, or something like that, then maybe I could bump it up even further. I think that's good, though. I think that's good, because that means he had a brilliant game. Brilliant game. Truly brilliant game. That's what Haaland was. So low 90s, I think, is fair. And Guardiola, actually, low key, I might be giving Guardiola the highest rating of them all. Because I'm such a big brain boy. What are we giving Guardiola out of 100? I'm low key, I might be giving him 90 something. What did Pep do wrong today? I think that he got the starting 11 perfect. I love the structure. The subs, I think, were basically moot because the game was... Well, it wasn't won by that point, but we did have a 2-goal lead. The subs were, you know, what you would expect. Bringing on Reinders, who apparently wasn't fully fit. Bringing on Savio, that's fine. He needs the minutes. Bringing on Marmoush, Night Nori, and Rodri for some minutes at the end. I feel like it was a... 100 of Pep listened to my Hear Me Out, says Fenway. Team spawn, structure and tactics, spot on, perfect subs too. I can't. I'm not going to give him 100. I'm not going to give him 100 because that would have to be like... A 10 out of 10 would be Real Madrid 4-0. From Pep. So I'm not going to give him that. Because I do think part of it was Iraola did play into his hands a little bit. But I'm definitely going to give him 90-something. I was very tempted to give him a 100, though. I was very tempted to do my first ever 100. But no, I don't think I can. That'll be a day when I give my first ever 10. Because I'm very harsh on my ratings, is what I've learned. I am going to give him a 95. And I think that is good. I think that is lovely. Beautiful. I don't tend to rate the subs, and I don't think any of them had much time, so I'm not going to do that. And there we go. And there we go. Lovely. Submit. I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. I think that's fair. Submit. Thank you guys for assisting me with that. I appreciate it. It'd be interesting to see. Like, I wonder how harsh... Can I see like, what other people have said? How do I do that? I don't even know how to navigate the app. I'm such an idiot. These are averages, are they? Oh, no, those are my ratings. How do I see everyone else's ratings? I just want to see what they did for this game. Just to see if I was being half or not. 5 points to Hufflepuff. Hello. What's going on? What's going on? Oh yeah, right, okay. We've been interesting. We've been overly compared to the average. We have been more extreme in some instances and less extreme in others. So amazingly, Donnarumma has been averaged up to a 69. No idea how that's happened, because that means he basically had a good game, which I think that's a bit mad. Haaland only on an 86. Shirky only on... Oh, no, that's what we gave Shirky, to be fair. Yeah, Haaland only on an 86. Criminal. Yeah, criminal. Give him something in the 9s. For real, for real. Good. Happy with that. Beautiful, beautiful game. We've also been live for around 90 minutes, which is around however much we want to do these. What a perfect ending to the stream. Any final statements, thoughts, questions that we would like to pop in the chat before I go and have my tea? It's on an app called Fanalysis, Yazan. It's on an app called Fanalysis. 5 points to Hufflepuff. Thoughts on rotating and resting versus Dortmund? Don't know if they are a good side of the season. They have been very good this season, to be honest, in the Bundesliga. I believe they are second. Love that from you, Leo. I do yap a lot, don't I? There's going to have to be a degree of rotation, I would suspect, but I don't know how much of it has to be significant. You still want Nico to start. You probably want Bernardo to start. You might want Reinders to start. Maybe you don't start Foden and rest him for Liverpool, or maybe you don't start Shirky. But I do think this is a... I do think that this is a game that we have to win because it's a home game and we should be doing well in our Champions League home game. So I do consider this more of a must win, to be honest with you. So we should be aiming to do quite well there. Any place to chat with other City fans? I've got a Discord. I mean, it's not all City fans. It's not all football, but I'm sometimes active in there. So we do have a Discord server if that's of interest to you. You know. Do I think Shirky will play versus Dortmund? Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I'm unsure. I'd love him to. I'd play Rodri if he's up for it, says Sachin. If he's up for it, definitely. I just don't want to rush him. I'm very cautious with my Rodri, my lovely Rodri, especially given how brilliant Nico's been. AP says, start Foden, we should go strong for these next two Champions League games. It's also, in fairness, I know there's only like a couple games before this one, but the game after that's a Sunday, isn't it, against Liverpool? So it's not like we don't have time to rest. Yeah, it is Sunday. So maybe we should just go full on. I don't know if I want to make another... Oh, a City chat, like a dedicated City chat. I mean, we could do another channel, couldn't we? I just don't know. I don't know if the Discord is active enough to warrant that. That's all, Jack. That's all. I guess we could technically do that. But, I don't know. Yazan wants the same lineup from today. Yeah, we are, Chef. If you want, Jack, can you pop the server link just in case anyone does want to join? That'd be very helpful. That would be very helpful if you could. Hello, Shazam. Do you agree Foden's playing like Pedri for City? Yeah, it's a similar role, definitely. More all-encompassing of all of the pitch, 100%. I love Pedri. I think Pedri's a better player, but there's no doubt that there is a similar role in that sense. Absolutely. Absolutely. We do have an international break coming up as well, don't we? After the Liverpool game. So I do think, why can't we just go for it now? Liverpool City prediction. We're going to win. Yeah? We're going to win all these games. All these games. Yeah? Victory. Marmish start would be lovely. Yeah. Totally agree, Fenway. Totally agree. We will be doing a touchline talk on Tuesday. LNobbins tomorrow, by the way, at 11. Yeah, here's the Discord. If you would like to join the server, you can click this link here. It's not just a football server. We talk about everything in there. So that's the thing. I suppose if we get enough people who just want to talk about, let's say, City, I guess I could make a dedicated City channel. Right now, I don't know if it's that active to warrant that, but that could absolutely be a thing in the future. And there are still lots of people talking about City in there as well. So if you would like to do that, guys, click that link from Jack. Sometimes I'm active in there. Sometimes I'm not. But sometimes I am, and it can be very fun in there also. Exactly, AP. Exactly, matey. Oh, that's going to be hot. Yeah. Yes, Sachin, I'm loving that. I am loving that. His idol as well. We all know the Foden is his own player, but he's got all these qualities. He's got all these. Yeah, exactly, Sachin. Timed. This is his first season playing here on a consistent basis, and I personally think he's doing a pretty good job. So I'm quite happy with that. Last thing I just wanted to say is thank you for all your lovely support on the channel. It's been very, very lovely. There will be a post-match analysis video out tomorrow as well. I will rewatch the game. I will go through it in the post-match analysis and try to offer a bit more dedicated insight into the match. Thank you also to my beautiful members who help support the channel. They are going across the screen right now. If you want to be like FJX or Spartacus, or indeed anyone in this Hall of Fame, then click the link in the pinned comment to directly support your boy. You can do so for as little as £2.99 a month. If you can't do that, if you don't want to do that, just leave a like on the video, because that's also free, and that also helps support the channel. If you're low on money, Haaland, do not do it. Please do not feel compelled. It's only for people who want to do it and can do it as well. That's the key thing. If you can't, don't worry about it. Seriously, it's fine. A like is more than sufficient. Thank you so much for watching. Really hope you have enjoyed. Neb's changed his name. We love to see that. And I will catch you all tomorrow on LNobbins and in the post-match analysis video tomorrow also. Goodbye, guys.